Gary from Mr. G Shave, back for another Wednesday straight shave. I think this is straight number 22, shave of the day number 93, I think so. Right, I'm finally getting around to use the razor that I've wanted for a very long time and was just waiting for the right one to appear on the bay. So first of all, I'll introduce you to the brush. This isn't a new brush, you've seen it all before. I've had it soaking in my lovely jug or mug. Yeah, squeeze it out, couple of shakes. It's the Semogue 830. There you go, one of my favourite. I mean, to be fair, all of my brushes are my favourite brushes, but you know, this one was a recommendation and I'd been delaying and then I finally got it. This still isn't anywhere near broken in, so I've still got some time to go with that. The razor is a razor, as I say, I've been after. I think I saw Johan use Matty Lindholm's razor, and then he finally got one of his own and I just had to get the same one or similar. And this is the Celebrated, so it's the W&B Butcher Celebrated. Let's see if that's in focus. Can't do anything without my glasses these days. So there we go, the W&B Butcher Celebrated razor. This is a 15/16, and it's in really good condition. If it's patches, because of the steam off my hands. But yeah, it's in excellent condition, and the scales are apparently the original scales. There is a small split in the scales, just trying to see. Yeah, there's a small split just here in the scales, but these are horn scales, so they look stunning. And although he couldn't confirm they were original, he suspected that they were, so excellent. So that's the razor I'm going to use. And as is the usual now, I'm going to introduce the software as I go along. So let's just wet the face. I will break this video when I move to post shave because I clean everything down. And the first item in the software is going to be the Brito Glyce. So just rub that in, or on, sort of halfway between in and on that was. Yeah, so just get the soap on your face. As I've said many times before, any glycerin based soap will do. Just so happens this one is popular with shavers. Wash the hands, otherwise they're too slick. And then the soap is the final of the three. It's Lothur or Lothur Thayers. So there you go. And this one has got a beautiful scent. I actually like this a lot. And it's certainly the most complicated scent out of all three. I'll read the scent notes to you. I've written them down because there's quite a few. So it opens with bergamot, lemon, mandarin, herbal notes and goes on to neroli, blossom, lavender, jasmine and musk. So that's a lot of scent notes, but it does smell beautiful. So let's just squeeze out my Semogue brush, and I'm just going straight into the soap or into the puck. Just going to load, because this is a natural hairbrush, I'm going to load quite heavily, because you know that's the problem with natural hairbrushes, that they eat lather. They have a reputation for eating lather. So I'm really loading this brush up. So that should be enough. spray on with water again. And let's just go for it. So, how's everybody's week been so far? I hope it's all been good. I've added quite a lot of water here. I'm just going to paint it in. Almost dumped the whole brush in there and it's just swallowed it. Yeah, it's been... I had a good weekend. That long weekend was much needed. Good but busy, and I only got to the pub on Monday. But I had a few too many on Monday, I must admit. Sunday was taken up, well, some of the day was taken up teaching my youngest son to drive. Because he's got his test coming up in a few weeks' time now, 2 or 3 weeks I think. So that should be interesting, because unfortunately for him, I mean, for those that aren't from the UK, in the UK we have a 2-stage test. We have a practical and we have not a practical, we have a theory first. So you've got to pass the theory, which is like sitting at a computer, clicking a mouse button for hazard awareness. So you'll be shown a video and you have to click wherever you think there's a hazard. Then there's a multiple choice after that. I forget how many questions. I think it's either 50 or 100 multiple choice questions, and you have to get, I think it's over 80%, I don't know. So he did that just before, so he passed that theory section just before the pandemic kicked in. And he hasn't been able to drive or practice driving because of the lockdown, the various lockdowns here, and a couple of other problems. Unfortunately, my oldest daughter had her car stolen and she needed a car, so the car that he was using was lent, the car that he was using to learn to drive. My son was learning to, God, I'm making this very complicated. The car that he was using to learn to drive had to be lent to my daughter, who had no car because her car had been stolen. So even when he could have been out learning to drive, he couldn't, because we didn't have a car that he could use. I mean, I have got another car, but he wouldn't be allowed to drive that. He's not insured on it, and it's too powerful. Nobody would. I mean, I'm not my car. My car's only a 2-litre diesel, but it's an automatic, and he's learning manual or stick shift, as I think you call it in the States. I'm having to add a lot of water to this because obviously using a straight razor, you really do need a wet lather. So yeah, he couldn't even drive it then. So he's only just got the car back, and we've only been out a few times in it so far, and he's got about 2 or 3 weeks before his test, his practical test. I'm still adding water. I think we're almost there though. We're just getting that sheen. I think we're there. I'm gonna stop there, I think, and start the shave. It certainly feels wet enough. So yeah, to be fair, he's a lot better than I thought he'd be after not being able to drive for so long, so I have high hopes that he's going to pass, but we'll see. We'll see. Right, here we go. First pass. This is the biggest razor in my den at the moment. There is another one that's coming that is bigger. So we'll have to wait and see how I get on with that one. But yeah, here we go. There's quite a bit of weight to this. There's no grip underneath in the thumb grip area and none in the top either. So makes it a little bit slippier. So let's go for it. First time I've used this. That feels nice. I've already cut myself. I didn't even feel that. Didn't feel that. This is very sharp. Very sharp. I think I'm going to get a stip tick on that, just to try and stop it. I didn't feel it at all, so that's interesting. Let's wipe some of that off. Yeah, I think I've decapitated a spot. That's what I've done. It's perfectly round, it's not a line. This doesn't want to stop, does it? Yeah, I've lopped. I can feel it just under the skin. I've lopped the top straight off that. No messing. Right, let's see how we get on. I'll carry on now with the shave. Now, the edge on this is not as smooth as, say, one I get from JJ. So I may end up sending this off to JJ to be rehoned. It feels a bit rougher. It's not tugging at all, it's very sharp, but it's not as smooth as JJ's. Perfectly usable though. It is perfectly usable, but I'd like to give it the same edge as my other razors have got. So I think this one will be going off to John. Let's just wow, it's taken a lot off though. This is almost, this could be a two-pass shave. Right. So it's got all of that off. Let's wet the face down again. And carry on. Keep calm and carry on, as they say. And this is already eating the lather. I'm going to load a bit more in here. Still bleeding. You little bleeder. Nothing like a bit of body in your lather. As I've said before, every time I've decapitated a spot and you can actually feel it under there, there's a bit of a raised lump. So it's definitely taken the top off something. Right then, so against the grain, straight up. Now in terms of slickness, personally one of the slickest soaps that I have in the den is Goodfellas Smile. That and Wickham's are really, really slick soaps. And I think, you know, for future shaves I'll probably stick to those. But I wanted to try this Lothur with a straight razor to see how it compared against the Goodfellas Smile and the Wickham's. And it is slick, don't get me wrong, but I don't think it's as slick as those two. Well, it doesn't have to be. I mean, it's perfectly adequate for a safety razor. It really is. Just adding a bit more water. See if I can get it a little bit slicker, because that side was a little bit too... too dry for my liking. So let's go. And my fingers are wet and slippery. Not a good thing to have on a razor without any grips on the by the heel here, on the thumb grip. I am concentrating on this because it's a new razor. It's the biggest razor I've got. Let's get some alum. Where do I put it? This is getting smoother actually as I use it. We'll have to wait and see after I strop it. I'll probably use it once more after I've stropped it to see if it really does need a hone. Right, that's across the grain done. This is the danger zone now. Against the grain. Just trying to pick up the rest of the soap out of the puck. Out of the pour, because it's not really a puck, it's just been poured in. And it's quite a soft soap, but as you can see, this has really taken up. It's literally eaten the soap, so I'm just adding some more. That is the only downside, I think, to using natural hair brushes. I mean, yes, I have made a personal choice. I'm not going to use badgers anymore. Well, I've got one badger that I will use because that's a special brush. I bought it for a friend and basically then found out that I was an idiot and I didn't ask him, and he didn't want a badger brush. So I kept the badger brush and I got him another one. It was for his 50th birthday, so that was a few years ago now. Right, let's just paint in some water. And it's immediately exploded, which is great. It's just all I needed, really. Yeah, but I mean, it was him that showed me, or sent me some links to videos that showed how in certain countries around the world, mainly in China, that they keep badgers in cages and how they're treated, and it kind of just put me off. I'm not an animal activist. I eat meat. I use boar brushes. No qualms using a boar brush. A boar is eaten for its meat and hunted for its meat, and as a byproduct you can make shaving brushes, so that's fine. But when you're keeping wild animals in captivity for the pure purposes of harvesting their fur, no other reason, that's where I kind of draw the line. I'm fine with people, you know, with boar, not a problem. With horse, the horse isn't killed for it, you know, they just cut the hair and it grows back. But badger, not for me. Just a personal decision. I don't criticise anybody that uses badger or likes badgers, you know, badger brushes anyway. I don't criticise them, you know. My badger brush is brilliant. I'll show you my badger brush. Those of you that don't know it already, it's my Welsh brush. So I'm hoping that's focused because I can't see what I'm doing. But that's silver tip badger. Beautiful, beautiful brush. I think that's a 28mm knot. So Mervyn Cadman, one of Mervyn Cadman's brushes, and he makes excellent brushes. So, but yeah, I think I've got a hair there. Not a rabbit. Yeah, so that's just personal choice. I don't want to preach to anybody about it. It's just I saw those videos you know, because I didn't really understand why he wouldn't want this brush off me. Well, I didn't mind. It's a lovely brush and I was going to keep it. But after he showed me those and I watched them a few times, I thought, you know what, he's got a point, you know. Badgers being beaten to death with crowbars and baseball bats, kept in cages. It just put me off. And that's the only reason. Right, against the grain. This feels a lot smoother now. Lovely. Really, really nice. We'll see what it's like after it gets stropped, and then I may still send it off to Steve or to JJ. You know, this is very sharp, this blade. It's been honed properly. But sometimes, like with a feathered DE blade, the first time you use it, it feels a bit rough. After that, it improves, and I think that'll be the case with this. So we'll see. Give it a chance. Lovely. Lovely. And that spot has stopped bleeding now. I'll probably catch it on the upward stroke, but you can see it there. It's just slightly bump. Bit of alum. Lovely. With each stroke it's improving. So, whereas with JJ's hones, they're smooth straight away. Perfect. That's smooth. When you get that squeaky finish, that's smooth, but there's not a lot of residual slickness there. But I have to say, that was a stunning shave. Let's just see whether I need to do pickups. I suspect I have. Let me just wash off this soap off the cloth. Yeah, a little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit there. Quite a bit here. I'm not going to push it though. There's quite a lot left there, but this side seems to be better. Right, let's go for the pickup pass. I don't mind that there's not a lot of lather left on here. It'll still provide me with enough slickness for this pass. As I say, these eat lather. You have to keep going back to the puck. Do. That'll do. As I've said before, my technique improves every time. I was a little bit nervous with this one because, as I say, it's the biggest blade I've ever used, and the blade that I'm probably going to be using next week. I was going to use another Wade & Butcher, but my special customised blade from Drew Dick is finished and paid for, so I think that might actually appear next week, which is even bigger than this. Not by much. That's got it. Perfect. Right. So that's the 3 passes in the pickup done. I'm going to clean up and I'll be right back. Right, I'm back, all cleaned up, ready for the post shave. Let's get some cold water on the subject. And the alum. Definitely stinging a bit there. Not much though, but I did decapitate something there. In fact, it looks like I've decapitated 2. A little bit of a, well, I'd definitely say it's 5, approaching 6 out of 10 all over, but it's even. It really is, so that's a good sign to me. It means I've applied equal pressure all the way across the shave. It tells me that my technique is improving, because when I first started shaving, I could get a 10 out of 10 burn in one spot and a 1 out of 10 burn in another, and that tells you you're not doing it correctly. So just wiping that off. Very nice. And then I'm going to go with lemon witch hazel. So Thayers lemon witch hazel, that's the tonic that I'm using. And that'll help with the healing of any little abrasions or irritation on the skin, whether they've bled or not, you know. Witch hazel is great for grazes and things like that. So, right, so following on with Agua de Concentrada, Colonia Concentrada by Alvarez Gómez, and this is tropical fruits or tropical scents, but it's basically citrus to me. But it's a sour, there's a lot more to just being citrus or lemon. There's a lot more to it than that. Oh, that's burning. But again, equally all over. Oh wow, nice. And as I say, the first time I got this aftershave, I really didn't really like it, but now I love it. It's really grown on me. Really has. Right, and then I thought I'd go with Wickham's Club Cola as the balm. So this is just warming my face now, this alcohol in the so I've just put a small amount of this balm on. Oh, a bit all over, and that, ladies and gentlemen, is the end of the shave. So the star of the show by far was this. The W&B Celebrated razor. Stunning, stunning piece of work. Stunning restoration. I'll try and put the link, if I remember, I'll put the link below in the description to the guy I bought it from, because that's all he does is he buys and restores razors, and he's based in the USA. I think it's the USA. It's either that or he's in North America, that's for sure. So, but I'll try and put a link below to his eBay site. He does a fantastic job, and I have to say I'm chuffed to bits with this razor. So it may eventually, well, it will eventually go to John for a rehone, but not just yet. I'm going to strop it a few times and shave with it a few times to see if that improves. But I did notice as I was shaving, it was either I was getting the feel for the razor, or the razor was shaving in a, you know, I'd obviously taken the edge, the sharp edge off, and it was shaving far smoother than it was when it first started out. So that's it for now. So it's bye-bye from me. Bye-bye from the W&B Celebrated razor, 15/16 with a horn handle. I will see you now on Friday for the head shave, the Friday head shave. So bye bye for now.